The Minnesota Vikings are 24 hours away from adding a possible first-round pick in the 2026 Minnesota Vikings draft as the draft inches closer in Pittsburgh. Hey, Rob Brzezinski, what are your thoughts on your first draft as Vikings GM?
It's been a long process, for us, and it feels like here we are at the home stretch. It's a big week for us. Obviously, our goal is to get this right, and we will.
With that, let's get to the fellas who did a geeky mock draft pretending to be experts. Take it away, guys.
Whatever, quality control. We are experts. We're going to tell you who the Vikings should pick and what is going to transpire over the next, 4 days. This thing drags on. But tomorrow night will be interesting because I think the three of us have already said Tony Bell with us, top right-hand corner, Anthony Tollison, now quickly jettisoned to the bottom left-hand corner. The 2026 draft is upon us, or less than 24 hours away. The question that we have out there, should Rob Brzezinski and the Vikings trade up, trade down, stay pat at 18? The three of us had said they should really trade down. This is a very interesting draft, and the fact that I think that a lot of the quality is going to – this isn't a deep draft, but a lot of the quality is going to fall between 25 and 70. You can get similar players between 25 and 75. And I think for the Vikings, in my opinion, Tony, they need more cracks at the bottle. I know, some people have said to that. Chris Ansbury, who commented on that question, and you can comment on it as well. Go to our page and comment. Said maybe trading up for an athlete like Caleb Downs, but trading down to acquire more quick picks, no bueno. I've got Kwesi PTSD, which, and before that, Rick Spielman with having 4 or 5 7th-round picks. So I get this trading down, more cracks at the bottle. The Vikings really excel at UDFA anyways. But, Tony, your thought process, you're going to be there tomorrow night, so we'll actually have someone at the NFL draft party. What is Rob Brzezinski going to do in his first NFL draft? Is he going to go up? Is he going down? Is he staying pat? And what do you hope to see tomorrow night?
Funny thing is, he could go either way, except up. I don't think he's going up. We don't have the draft collateral to go up. So
and you certainly shouldn't. And just to add that, Tony, you shouldn't you shouldn't give away 2027 picks because that draft is a whole different story. No. You should actually try to get picks for 2027. Yeah.
So I'm thinking they stay pat, and if they don't stand pat, they are going to trade down, which they could swap some draft choices. There could be a player involved. We could see Grenard moved tomorrow.
Very possible.
So my whole thing is I would talk to one of the teams early in the second round and move into the second round and add a second round choice, because also Vikings don't have the money right now to pay these draft choices.
They really don't.
They draft
$4.8 million right now, and they have to cut Jalen Hutchins before this draft. I don't know if they're trying to get a little more money, and then they'll get to him after. I don't know, but it's an interesting situation, Anthony. And I know we kind of talked a little bit beforehand, and I think it really will kind of be dictated. The Vikings will kind of play what the board says for them to do, right? So if the board says that a couple of guys that they really like, we like, and I don't want to give away our mock draft that we all did earlier today. You can go on the page. Mm-hmm. You can add your mock draft if you want to. But we all drafted the same guy, which is hilarious. And, and it would be great to see them get this guy. But I think it's going to be dictated by how the draft goes. If those guys are already taken, which we don't know what the teams beforehand are going to do, or if a team might trade up right before the Vikings to get one of the players that we think the Vikings really, really like. But what do you kind of foresee tomorrow night and then maybe for the rest of the weekend for the Vikings?
Can I share 2 things I heard news-wise?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm not 100% sure about this, but Adam Schefter was saying more than likely we stay at 18 and take interior defensive line.
Right. I think so.
So if that's the
case, we all agreed with him with our mock draft.
Yeah, and if it's no Dylan Dinneman, it's going to be the guy we took.
Yep.
And I also heard from Jay Glazer, what I seen on Facebook, that something huge is going to happen in the first round.
I saw that too, and he can't announce it till obviously they're on the clock.
If it's huge, then it would be nice if it's Jonathan Grenard going somewhere.
Could be. I mean, I kind of have a weird feeling, you guys. Yeah, I kind of have a feeling though. It's almost like I know
Well,
the
it'd be huge
Vikings have
for
said
us.
all
We need more picks, and then maybe Kayshawn Booty, throw him in.
right. If that's the Patriots, then you would get your wide receiver 3. Although Booty has a kind of high rate as of right now. He wants more money, so I don't know if that's something they want to deal with. I kind of see the Vikings just wanting picks, and then they can draft a
Yeah.
young wide receiver and
Mhm.
wait for June 1st when they'll be probably a
Trade
veteran.
him to New England and get a 4th rounder this year and
Yep.
something next year.
Yeah, that would be that right there, Anthony, would be that would be a smart play. You might hurt you a little bit this year, but Dallas Turner's ready to take that spot. You can draft an edge
And
rusher
so
with
what
your
I'm
later
thinking
pick.
is no trading up, because you're stupid if you trade up. Because what if you get the guy? It happens every year. You get somebody who's supposed to be really good. You trade up for him, and he turns out to be crap. Has a terrible year.
Well, the Vikings have had a lot of that in their
So we
most
don't need to
recent
do that.
drafts.
So either I think
Yeah.
it's 50-50. You stay at
We've
18,
traded down
or
and
you
had players
trade
that were
down into
crap.
round
So
2.
Yeah, that's the big thing under Kwesi. We traded down twice to our divisional rivals, and both those
Kwesi's
picks didn't
gone
turn out
now.
to be anything. Yeah, it was a
Kwesi's
nightmare.
gone.
So I mean,
I think
this is a lot
Brzezinski
of
will get us
pressure,
some
right,
good
guys?
picks.
But here's the thing: this is a lot of pressure on Rob Brzezinski, correct? Because he's got to get this one right. He just said it. If he wants this job, he's going to be judged on this draft, and I don't know if he's going to want to.
But
keep
here's
this
the thing
job.
with-
Yeah, Tony.
Here's the thing with Rob. I mean, Rob is basically, he's got 30 years with the company. He's probably ready to retire. So he's just holding the seats for whoever they decide to bring in.
I think that's more
GM.
likely. I actually think that's more likely. It might be someone that is really close with KOC anyways. It could be someone from the Rams organization. It could be somebody.
It's always somebody from the Rams.
Yeah. So we're going to get our mock draft going here.
Here's my thing. Why they're giving so much control to KOC? KOC now, this is a make or break year for him. If this year is bad, he's going to be gone.
He could be gone. He might not even make the end of the season. If
And
it's
they
that
have to start from square one over again.
Yeah,
week 5.
Yeah, if they're 1-4, they don't have a bye early, right? So if they're 1-4,
he's gone.
He's probably going to be gone.
Flores,
and then they can just put Flores. I mean, if Flores doesn't get it, then we know that Brian Flores probably won't get a head coaching job at least.
Well, Frank Smith is the assistant head coach.
That's true. And Frank Smith is
that what you want, because Frank Smith is the head coach.
Is the assistant head coach.
You know,
it could be just moving him to that position. A lot of things will be interesting to see what happens.
This team has questions and answers.
Yeah, personally, I think that this team is, as we've said, either they're going to stand pat, pick the guy that all three of us did, and we'll get to our mock draft in just a minute.
It's 50-50. It's split, I think. Stay or move down.
Yeah, I think they're going to move down. I think that's because there's a lot of guys, as we said, between 25 and 75. There's a lot of talent there. You can add.
Especially early round 2. There's some
right, and it takes the pressure off of a first round pick, bust kind of scenario.
Yeah,
and I mean, the Vikings.
Let me throw 3 names at you that they could get in round 2.
Yeah,
D'Angelo Pons, Jacob Rodriguez, or Lee Hunter.
Yeah,
one of them
like
3.
Big Lee. That's one of my secret. But every mock draft I did, he was always picked right ahead of me, and I was like, darn.
Well, hey, I was always able to get him at 49.
He was
crazy.
Yeah, he's going to be one of these guys. Depending on the run, it's always those runs, guys, right? At positions, and if DT's where we think it's going to be, and there's a run on it, then he's not going to make it to the 49th pick. And so the Vikings could trade up, and that's a scenario. They trade back, and if that's the guy they really want, they could trade up, maybe give some of the later date
trade
picks.
Back between 33 and 40. That's a good area.
Could be. You don't have to give up too much collateral to do that. So we'll see kind of what transpires. We're all kinds on pins and needles. So other people on our page have responded to that question. Should Rob Brzezinski and the Vikings trade up, trade down, or stay at 18? Again, here on the show, you want to give us some live comments. We'll read them off. Mike Conrad said stay put. Ryan Peterson, of course, you see on the show once in a while as well, also said stay put. Mark Ballack, trade up. Brian Adams, trade down. Chipper Cripps, depends on the need. Yeah, and again, I think depends on the need, but it also depends on how the draft board plays out. And I think the Vikings definitely would trade trade up maybe 1 or 2 spots if that is a player they absolutely feel is number one on their board and they didn't expect to get that guy. Now, who that might be, I don't know. But if they, and we've seen the Vikings trade 1 pick up before anyways. That was a Quasey thing with the Jets, which made no sense. But anyway, it'll be interesting.
Jeremiah Love is probably going to be gone, so he won't fall. The
But
only guy
running back,
maybe I could see falling is Caleb Downs. That's it.
So say Caleb Downs is there at 15, 16. That's a guy that's a need position. I mean, what could you give one of your 3rd round picks?
That's about the only guy I would move up for. But there's too many holes we haven't.
I kind of agree with that. I do kind of agree with that. So add your responses to the show. We'd love to hear from you now. There are some headlines we want to get to as well. Also, we want to know from you as well. Add to the show. We're going to answer these questions. Your favorite 1st round pick that the Minnesota Vikings ever selected, and also your thought, the most disappointing or biggest bust. Let us know. The 3 of us answered it on the page, but just to refresh them, if they're watching this right now, and we thank you for doing so on YouTube, please tell your friends about us, subscribe and like. Tony Bell, your favorite 1st round pick and the one that disappointed you the most or you felt was the biggest bust.
Oh, all-time favorite is Alan Page.
Yeah, absolutely.
All-time favorite.
And the one pick
that
surprised
set the tone right there.
Yeah, the pick that surprised you, that kind of was either a bust or just you don't understand why that person was bad, or you just think was playing that flat out bad and should never have been picked by the Vikings.
You mean besides Demetrius Underwood?
I know. I think all 3 of us really. I think we've all said this.
Walked out of training camp.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even make training camp. I mean, that's an all-time.
We took forever to make the pick, and then he walks out of training camp.
I will say this: the Vikings have probably been the biggest highlights on draft day, and probably the greatest snafu in draft history. We all know what we're talking about, and if you don't, well, in 2003. With Dennis Green on the set with Chris Berman and Mel Kiper, I'll never forget it, on ESPN, the Minnesota Vikings somehow, some way, couldn't get their card up in time. And the Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars both selected ahead of the Vikings, ran their card up there and selected, I believe it was Byron Leftwich and Marcus Trufant before the
Panthers.
Vikings.
The Panthers took Jordan Gross. The tackle.
Was it Jordan
and
Gross?
Then the Jaguars
the
took Byron Leftwich.
And we were left
and then
with Kevin Williams, which they were very lucky.
Yeah.
Very lucky that we got Kevin Williams that day. But the absolute bickering, and Denny Green, I just remember him saying, like, the only thing I can think of is that the Vikings still don't want to pay seventh pick money. They'd rather pick like 11 or pay.
I remember watching Kevin Williams at Oklahoma State. He was really good.
Yeah, he was. So they kind of lucked into that deal.
So
but then
Eric, we had that 2 years in a row because we had it the year before and the year
that's right
after. And guess who was in charge of that draft?
Tell him, Tony. Tell him.
Rob Brzezinski. Rob Brzezinski was in charge of both of those drafts where the cards up there sold. That was Rob B, folks.
You think he's learned from this? Because now that makes me a little more
I give
nervous.
him a pass because I don't think it's going to happen again. Something like that.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Never say never, Anthony. He's already proven twice. Never say never, right?
Rookie mistake.
He was the guy that made that selection on our behalf. So, yeah, well, hopefully he watches those tapes.
Rookie mistake 2 years in a row? Come on.
Yeah,
that's after if you do it the first time, it's a rookie.
Well, we kind of
if you do it the second time, you're a dumbass.
Well, what if you have somebody telling him what to do, though?
When they drafted Troy Williamson and Erasmus James, I wish we were failed with the card at the time and someone else.
I actually thought Erasmus James would turn out to be okay, but
him was injuries. Him and Sharif Floyd, 2 top picks, Vikings history.
Yeah, Sharif Floyd was good until the injuries hit.
But yeah, so then
the doctors botched his surgery, so he ended his career.
That was the big thing, was the botched surgery for Sharif on the knee. Yeah. But the Vikings have also had some of the most incredible moments. I mean, the fact that Randy Moss lasted to them the way he did, And Denny Green, of course, not needing a wide receiver, that's where you take best available player on your board. And it turned out to be the right decision because Randy Moss went on
Who
to
was
the
it?
NFL to become.
Who was it that passed on Randy Moss twice, though? Who passed on him
Well,
twice?
Dallas did once. Dallas was
that?
the
The
team
Bengals?
that everyone said Randy Moss was going to be like it was destiny for him to go to Dallas, and they passed on him. And that at that point, it was like, is Randy going to slide right out? Because Minnesota, everyone's like, they got Carter, they got Reed. They really weren't expected to take him. But I mean, that's something that we can hope maybe tomorrow night that some player that Caleb Downs, someone of that man, maybe Love running back.
Want to know a funny story about Moss?
Yeah.
He originally played for my Seminoles, but guess why he got kicked off the team? Because Bobby Bowden found him with a little bit of weed on him. Oh, boy. Bobby Bowden was freaking tough, man. He wouldn't play that.
Yeah. No,
but if he would have stayed with FSU, he would have been with Peter Warwick and Anquan Bolden.
no
my
question.
God.
I mean, Randy was just such a physical freak athlete. It is beyond
Yeah.
words. I still have yet to see a guy with the complete package that he had.
Oh, there'll never be another freaking Randy Moss, ever.
Just physically. You know, you can argue Jerry Rice was the greatest, but just physically, I can't even think of any receiver that comes close to that speed, the jumping ability.
Yeah.
You know, one of the greatest pictures of all time was on that Monday night in Green Bay, and Cunningham just tossed it up there, and all you see is Randy Moss's foot at Darren Sharper's knee, shoulder pad level. Okay,
Randy Moss was so good against Green Bay.
Oh, it's just amazing. Had some of the greatest touchdown celebrations against Green Bay too. So
Yeah.
do respond. So you tell us your favorite first round pick in Vikings history, the biggest bust in team history. We all said Demetrius Underwood, Tony Allen Page. Anthony, your favorite player was interesting because I didn't expect it. I know I had the picture on there, but I believe you said Ron Yeri. Did you not?
Yeah, well, Ron Yeri is one of the best tackles ever.
Yeah.
And I don't think he ever missed a game for us.
Very consistent.
Like 240 games consecutive or something.
Pretty amazing.
I mean,
you know?
the Vikings got
Yeah, he did, and he wasn't
Ron Yeri.
And Yeri wasn't a starter his rookie year. He didn't start till '69.
Because Bud never really
he
played
didn't start his rookie.
He liked to, you know.
Yeah,
and then,
Bud never
for
played.
me, Randy Moss.
He was such a great tackler.
I mean,
and
Alan Page
kept
didn't play
the
until
edge
the
guys
fifth
away
year.
from Fran Tarkenton.
Fifth game.
Yeah. And then, there's so many really good ones that you can put down. I mean, Harrison Smith is up there, Carl Eller, Randall McDaniel. How do people forget Randall McDaniel? Arguably our best guard.
Yeah, Randall McDaniel was a monster.
He was just
a
monster.
great. Came from Arizona State.
Oh, yeah.
Chris
You know the funny thing when you think about
I think Chris Dolman was the biggest surprise, Anthony, only because he was a linebacker, and then we just pushed him to defensive end, but that was the right pick because he was just really probably the
he
most
was brought in. Dolman was
perfect.
drafted. He was drafted to replace Matt Blair, and Matt Blair was our rushing tight end. He was our edge rusher,
Blair,
a linebacker. So he was brought in to be. He was brought in to be Matt Blair. Well, then he just could not get the linebacker, and then when they moved him, the Vikings were down on defensive linemen because everybody was hurt. So Floyd Peters wanted Dolman on the field, so he got Mark Mullaney to help him and teach Dolman how to play defensive end. And sure enough, his first year as a full-time starter, 11.5 sacks, all-pro.
Thank you, man. I'm glad they did.
That was one of the best decisions they've ever made. Matt Blair, the Jersey
my favorite defensive player ever, Matt Blair.
Yes, 50, and also the best kick blocker in the history of the NFL.
Okay, here's a cool fact. Matt Blair played for Iowa State in a I think the Tangerine Bowl. He blocked 4 punts and kicks total.
Did anyone ever do that? I don't think anyone else has done that.
In the college bowl game, I doubt that, seriously.
I doubt it.
Matt Blair was that good.
Ridiculous. He was the best at that, man. I mean,
back then, though, it was very popular. It was very possible to do because
more so than now, especially the way the kickers kick.
But if you could have a guy like Matt Blair on your defense, oh man,
it'd be nice. That'd be nice.
And the Vikings were known for blocking punts and kicks back then.
Yeah. So add that to it.
That was always a Bud Grant thing.
Yeah, there is some news stories coming out of Minnesota before we get to our mock draft, and then we center on players we'd like to see the Vikings select. What do you guys think? And I start with you on this, Anthony. JJ McCarthy shut down his social media to purple dailies, Phil Mackey and Declan Goff. I mean, what
Well,
is
he's
that?
tired of hearing all this crap about, oh, Colin Murray took over the job. He's gonna focus on this year and do what he needs to do.
Yeah,
Right
but I
now, he's at the
mean,
game. He's at the wild game with the guys.
yeah, I see that. And
You
Justin
know,
Jefferson did the whole thing.
you know why he shut him down. You know why he shut him down. Since I'm in the Twin Cities, I'll tell the out of towners why he shut him down. They've been nothing but negative about him since day one.
Well, yeah.
The only
Yeah.
one that's too much negative about him was Judd. But you've got
Yep, Judd's his
Declan
biggest
and you've
supporter.
got Phil, being negative about him.
I thought Phil was
And
really
saying-
excited about JJ, and then he turned, or it kind of,
Yeah,
for a lot of
Phil-
people, it did. Let's
Phil
face
have to drop the
it,
bat.
Phil.
turn on JJ.
Whichever way the wind blows with Phil Mackey is where he'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
Phil
a fan of
Mackey,
Phil Mackey.
he's
He loved
Sneaky
Kevin
like that.
O'Connell. Now he doesn't
Judd-
like Kevin O'Connell. Judd got to him. Yeah. And
and
listen,
so
JJ
I mean,
McCarthy-
so if JJ McCarthy doesn't want to, follow them, I don't blame him. You know
No,
what?
I think he wants to
you
get
guys
rid
are
of all
pretty
the
negative.
distraction.
He
He wants to get rid of all the
negativity.
distraction. And I think he has a great chance to win the starting job. I do. Listen, JJ McCarthy's got a big chip on his shoulder. This could be one of the best moves Kevin O'Connell has done in his tenure to do this, to motivate him.
Watch
And-
him show out this year. He's
He
gonna
could.
do something.
Because listen, even if Kyler Murray starts, Kyler Murray's track record over the last few years, I forget how many games he's missed. It's a lot. JJ McCarthy's going to get an opportunity. And when that happens, if JJ's prepped,
Yeah, I look at the Kyler Murray thing this way. If they're going off early, Kyler Murray, fine. But
Yeah.
lately, Kyler Murray hasn't done nothing.
Yeah.
His last couple years with the Cardinals, nah.
And also, I know Bill Dunkel is not here with us tonight. I know he told me to tell us all that if we're doing our mocks, that Kenyon Sadiq would be his pick. He wants the Oregon tight end. So, yes, Bill, we're doing that for you. And also, we just wanted to send a quick, our prayers to you and the family. Mother Marilyn passed away last week. We didn't have a chance to say it on Monday. But we, prayers to the Dunkel family. And may Mother Marilyn rest in peace. Just want to make sure we get that in there before we have fun and segue into the mock drafts that we all did because we are geeks. And
since we're on the note,
yeah,
hold on. Before we even go there, we've lost 3 players from the Viking family, 3 former players within the last 2 weeks.
Thank
We've
you.
lost
Yes,
3.
thank you. We talked about this before the show, and yes, this is amazing. In what, a 3-month span, we lost the many people's favorites that I've talked to during that 80s.
Maybe a month and a half.
Yeah,
It's
maybe a
been
month and a half.
Joy Browner. Yeah. We
One of
lost
the- one
Joy
of the
Browner.
hardest
We lost
nosed
Jeff
Vikings.
Seaman.
Where would you put him, Tony? You're
Yep.
the historian
We lost-
of us here. Where would you put Jeff Seaman? Because a lot of people that are watching us now probably didn't see him play. I vaguely remember him. I remember him because he wore the Alan Page mask. It was very, very evident when you watched him play. Part of that defense, he always seemed to be in the middle of tackles. Maybe one of the more underrated guys. Kind of like that Jack Del Rio type. Just not maybe getting the amount of accolades that he deserves, or Ed McDaniel, who was one of my guys I love to watch play. But Jeff Seaman he was instrumental in those Purple People Eaters later in their existence. Tell us a little bit about him and just what it was like to watch him. And of course, prayers and thoughts to all the families of these great Vikings. And we'll get into Doug Martin here in a minute, but just your thoughts on Jeff Seaman, Tony. Like, where's his place as far as linebackers? Would you put him in the top 10 all time for the Vikings?
I got him tied for first with Scott Studwell. Yep.
Wow, that's
I got him tied for first with Scott Studwell.
Wow.
He came in. He replaced Lonnie Warwick. He's a number 1 draft choice. He played middle guard at Stanford.
Yep.
So he was a man, but then they moved him to linebacker. But he played his rookie year. Lonnie Warwick got hurt and played so well that the Vikings traded Lonnie Warwick with Bob Lee to Atlanta the next year. So Seaman became the full-time starter, but Seaman was the rookie with Hilgenberg and Winston, but the defense never lost a beat. I mean, Alan Page said it, Jim Marshall said it. He was the glue. He was the signal caller.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he was always around the ball, and he kept that
He seemed
spot
smarter than
up
most of the
until
guys too. He just high IQ guy, Jeff Seaman. Like he just knew where to be.
he was
You know, he
smart.
just knew where to be.
He was smart,
know?
and another thing,
Effort.
a lot of people don't know this about Jeff Seaman. He was an ordained minister. He was
I heard about that.
very religious, and he would have Sunday sermon with the players and stuff like that before the game. And people are like, "How can you be a preacher and still go out there and hit people the way you do?" And he's like,
And knock people
"You
around.
can do both."
Unfortunately for
you
Jeff,
can do both.
probably,
And
for whatever
so,
reason, God wasn't listening on the Super Bowl. God wasn't listening, Jeff. You tried. You tried to pray and get your team to victory.
Yeah.
That Super Bowl
Yeah, he stayed neutral on Super Bowl Sunday, and look what it got us.
Yeah,
But
he stayed neutral
it was
on our behalf.
Seaman was so valuable to this team that when the Vikings switched to a 3-4, both him and Studwell were starting. And so they traded Jeff.
Depth at linebacker.
The Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Vikings traded him in 82 to the Chargers. Well, the Chargers cut him in the final cut, and then he came back to Minnesota. So he finished it. He never played a down that counts with the Chargers. He came back to Minnesota and retired in 83. Joey Browner, their number 1 draft choice.
Yeah,
so, and then Browner actually played 2 positions. He played safety and cornerback. In 84, he was a cornerback, not the best. Carl Lee was playing safety. Well, then Bud comes in, flips him. Carl Lee to corner, Browner to safety.
Great move.
2 All-Pros.
Perfect move by a Hall of Fame coach. Perfect.
2 All-Pros.
Carl Lee, probably
and then
most underrated by. Love Carl Lee.
Carl
Lee's an awesome dude. I talked to him
we need a Carl Lee is what we need in our secondary right now. We need a Carl Lee.
If you talk to Carl Lee on Facebook, he's
a Joey Browner would be nice too, right?
Yeah,
the guy that will knock.
And then we lost Doug Martin. We lost Doug Martin this week. Doug, I mean, he came to us in 80, number 1 draft pick, but he held out.
Yeah, to Washington. Yeah.
First year he holds out, signs late, then his contract's up, and in between 82 and 83, the guy had 25 and a half sacks.
Yeah, he had 1 year.
For 2 years. That was
a like that. It was dominant. It was dominant. You knew
he had I think he got credit for 13 and a half.
Yeah, like his brother George, he was getting to the quarterback.
And then
very evident, that he was on the field at all times. You knew he had to account for Doug Martin,
But once again, his contract was up and he held out.
Yeah, well,
then when he does resign, he's full of injuries.
Modern athlete. Yeah.
And then
injuries really hurt him.
Plays well up until 88, and guess what? He holds out. So he comes back, but then he gets hurt against the Saints, and that typically ended his career.
Yeah. He had
he had Howard Slusher as an agent, but he had 15 and a half sacks. I mean, he was good.
Yeah.
He was good.
He was a good player. Very good.
We've lost 3.
Yeah.
So condolences out to their families.
Fans out there.
Yeah.
If you want to share your memories of Doug Martin, Joey Browner, Jeff Seaman, it has been a really rough year.
2 things I noticed. A lot of older Vikings players played more than 1 position, and they were playing something else before they got drafted by the Vikings. That's one thing. And every single year, we've always had good linebackers. That's like one of our best positions ever. I think
linebackers and wide receivers.
I
would think linebackers and wide receivers, the Vikings have been very, very good at. They've reached a certain level. I also will say defensive.
Oh, they have.
Yeah. I mean, the Vikings had 2 different versions. Yeah. I mean, when we had Keith Millard, Chris Dolman, Henry Thomas.
Oh, yeah, that was my year. Henry Thomas.
Yeah. I mean,
and Al Noga.
Tremendous defensive line that was. And then obviously the original Purple People Eaters was just ridiculous with Larson and Page and Marshall and Eller. I mean, the Vikings have always seemed to have that. That's why it's kind of weird. And even later when they had Jared Allen and they had the Williams wall, they've always seemed to have a really, really good defensive line, good linebackers, as you said, Anthony, and just dynamite wide receivers. Always had dynamite wide receivers. It's and they've had some good running backs.
This is the first year.
Yeah. I mean,
first time in a long time where the trench of the Minnesota Vikings have been a question mark.
Yeah.
D line and
Big time.
offensive line. It's been a
Defensive
long
tackle
time.
and center. Big
Time to
issue.
fix that.
Skull State of Mind,
Yeah.
YoTB.
Oh, what's up, D
Give a shout
Woods?
out. So,
Yep.
let's
I mean,
segue into
it's so.
Yeah, let's segue into what they need to do to
Shall we
solidify
be the scientists and
let's try to fix
right? So
it.
are we
Let's try to
thinking?
do
Okay,
it.
so we're going into this. Are we going into this thinking what we would do, or are we going into this thinking what we know Kevin O'Connell's going to do?
We can do it two ways because I think when we did our mock draft, certain players that we really liked weren't there. Okay, and I just did one today. I didn't do many.
Mhm.
I did that one. A lot of the guys that I've talked about, we can do that. We can talk about that. Here's mine. This was my mock draft, and I will just give a teaser. The guy I picked first is also the first round selection of one Tony Bell and one Anthony Tollison. So we want what we're saying here, and that we just talked about. The Vikings always seemingly having a great defensive line. Is we want to make sure Jalen Redmond has the help that he needs to improve on what he's already shown us. And I think, gentlemen, I love Dexter Lawrence. I might have thought about Dexter Lawrence. I know the big kid from Ohio State, McDonald. Those guys might be great picks too. But I want to make sure, like this guy is to me, and I watched the tape. You've seen what he's done at Clemson. He's a big guy, not tall, but he's big and he's fast. And he gets to the place where he needs to go. So let's go around here and talk about that because we all picked this guy. So, Tony Bell, why do you think Peter Woods was your first selection in your mock draft? What do you think about this guy? What is he going to add to the Vikings that they don't have right now?
We need that push up the middle. We need a run stuffer.
Yeah.
We need somebody to clog holes up the middle so they don't – just to take the pressure off of whoever our inside linebackers are. You just need that big body in the middle. Does Woods fit the bill? Not really, but he can also.
But
get
again,
to the
Flores is
too.
not. That's the interesting about Flores. He doesn't want like the 6'5", 330, right? The guys we all want, like the guy.
No more Jerry Ball and Pat Williams.
Yeah, we want a big guy. Like I just want to see a guy just golf.
The thing with Flores is, and this is where I get on Brian Flores. His sole focus is to highlight his linebackers. Your defensive line is just secondary. Yeah. He doesn't care about the defensive line. It's all about his linebackers. So, I mean, if it was up to me, we'd be playing 4-3 defense and have a true nose tackle.
Okay, so then this is what this is what you would do, Tony, if you're the Vikings, no matter what, or is there a player that wasn't available in your mock that you think maybe the Vikings will lean towards more than Peter Woods?
That's what I would have went with. That's me, but I think the Vikings, and this is KLC. This is where it gets weird with KLC. KLC's in charge of the draft. KLC cannot help himself. If one of them wide receivers are there, he's going to pick him.
Yeah, he will go that way.
He's going to pick him.
All the smoke has been, Anthony, as we segue to you, reason why Peter Woods, the smoke has been out there. The Vikings are sending this out. Well, all the people that they've talked to, they want a Z receiver, which is a guy that is basically has to be over 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", big guy, red zone target, great catch radius. But Peter Woods was your selection, Anthony. Why? And then was it just because of the way the draft felt? Or what do you think the Vikings are going to do tomorrow with the 18th pick? We all obviously said trade down, but if they stay at 18, why Peter Woods for you? And what is Brzezinski gonna? If hopefully he gets his card up in time, what's he turning in?
Well, about that crap with KLC wanting a wide receiver, crap like this. There's 1,000 wide receivers in this class. You don't need one at 18. If he does that, it's a DUI drafting under the influence, and that would be stupid. As far as Peter Woods goes, he plays zero tech.
He's got the power. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He's got the power. He can do whatever he wants.
And there's the key. Anthony, you just said he can also play power. Yeah.
Peter Woods is versatile, and he's played at 3 different spots.
Thank you. That's the key. That tells me that's that's what Flores wants. He wants to be able to move guys to various, but that's what he is. He likes cookie cutters because he wants to show defense. He wants to show offenses things that they are not familiar with, and at any time he can switch it up, and it would fit the bill that he gets a guy like Peter Woods that can do edge, nose, anywhere. And that's kind of why that makes the most sense. But, I mean, let's just put it to you like this, though. A lot of these so-called pundit draft experts out there, they have us picking the safety out of Oregon. I mean, that's the one that I see more than all others, or McCoy from Tennessee. Anthony, do you think, what would you put the percentage that Woods will get it, and then maybe Dylan Dinneman that obviously I've seen like everywhere?
Well,
for the Vikings?
there's reports saying that we're going to go interior defensive line now at 18. So I would say Dinneman about 60%, and Woods now 40.
Yeah, and again, this all could be changed, Tony and Anthony, if a team picks one of these guys earlier, and it could Peter Woods.
If both
could
are
be gone
gone
in the
by
first
18, we're moving down.
Yeah. It could be gone in the first 15 picks. I mean, there's a lot of need for defensive tackle, and he might not make it to us. And I think Dylan Dinneman would be the guy that would be there. I could see him falling a little bit, only because maybe some teams aren't sold on his athleticism, but they should be. I mean, the guy shows out. But it'll be very interesting to see on that. All right, so let's go to Anthony Tollison's second pick, which I can honestly say we did not see each other's mock drafts, okay, but we did pick the same guy. I guess maybe because both of our mocks had him as the highest left.
When I do a lot of mocks, he's usually there, either him or Lee Hunter.
Yeah. You know what? If Lee Hunter was there, and I went
back, and D'Angelo Pons really reminds me of Antoine Winfield Sr.
Yes, he does. And he kind of has that look. I mean, he's a great tackler. The key with him, though, is the height, right? We always say the height. Is he going to be able to stand up to the big receiver?
Antoine Winfield, Darrell Green, and Tyrann Mathieu are all the same
I understand
height.
that. But that's like the question that everyone's going to say. If shifting off, I mean, of course he could play the slot. He could play. This kid is just fun to watch. I mean, Tony, you saw him in the national championship game. He was everywhere on the field.
He was great. He
this
blew
guy
past
shows
Markel
out.
Bell and got a sack on the quarterback.
Yeah. Sometimes
Markel Bell's
size,
a monster.
Yeah, sometimes size, athleticism, all that, it doesn't matter. It's the heart that a guy plays with, right, Tony? I mean, I want to see this guy. If he is the selection, it's my second pick as well. It's where the board was for me. I think D'Angelo Pons would be great. Now we look at Tony's second round pick here in his mock draft, who he decided to take. And so, Tony, you went in a different direction, but the same idea that you, like Anthony and I, want to fix this defensive backfield. So you went with AC Halsey from LSU, big hitter.
I went with Halsey because Pons was taken.
Yeah. Okay.
In my mock.
So let's just get this straight. You would have taken Pons if he was there in yours?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It just
probably.
We all want Woods and Pons.
Yeah. I think he just shows out, this guy. I mean, he plays with an attitude. I love it. He's a great tackler. Yes, he does. And Antoine Winfield Sr. was just a stud, man. And his son is as well. Antoine Winfield Jr.
He's
is
one of the
just
best free agent signings we ever had.
Yes, I would say so. I mean, didn't they get him and Pat Williams from Buffalo? What was the Buffalo Bills thinking about letting those two guys ever get out of their?
They didn't want to pay him. They didn't want to pay him. That's why.
I mean, just an
they didn't want to pay him.
Whoever the Bills GM at the time was stupid.
Obviously, to our benefit. So to our benefit. All right. So while we're on Tony Bell's page, so me and Anthony both picked Pons with our second pick. So let's stay here. Looks like Tony with the 82nd pick, the third round pick for the Vikings. Again, we're not making any trades. They could trade down. They could trade up. Who knows? But you're addressing the backfield, the running backfield. You want to go with the young running back, Mike Washington from Arkansas.
Because the one I wanted to pick, Emmett Johnson, was taken, so I took the next best running back. And that was
we only did one. Ladies and gentlemen on here, if you do one, we just did one. There was none of this retry. Our favorite guy was gone. Anything of that magnitude, right? That's what kind of transpired.
Getting Mike Washington at 82 is a steal.
Mike Washington is at 82.
He fell to me at 82, so I said, you know what? He's there. I wanted Emmett Johnson because he's a hometown kid, but I went with Mike Washington. Here's the thing with drafting a running back. Is he going to see the field in this offense? Because I'll tell you what, I don't trust KOC as far as running the ball, let alone. But then using his
Developmental
young
year.
running backs in the passing game,
Wait, you trust
I just
KOC?
don't see it.
Period.
Hell no,
I had someone
not
say,
at all.
"Can we trade KOC? Can we trade KOC at the draft for a pick?" I was like, "Heck yeah!" But what are you going to get for him?
It happened before. Didn't Gruden get traded or
I
something?
think he did 2 first-round picks, right? Didn't someone
See?
get
Gruden
two
got
first-round
traded for 2
picks
first-round picks. Yeah,
Well, hey, you know what?
and then he goes
give me
to
one first-round pick. I will talk up
And then
KOC. Listen, Jets, Aaron Glenn's not your guy. Kevin O'Connell will make your team fly. Give us a first-round pick and a fourth. You can have them. Let's make that draft day trade and then put Brian Flores as our head coach. I think Tony would be up for that. I think Anthony would be as well.
Let me tell you something about Mike Washington.
Yeah.
He reminds me of the way Dalvin Cook played in college, but he's got to work on his ball handling skills. He has a little bit
Too many
fumbling issues.
fumbleitis.
fumble.
Yeah,
He does fumble a lot.
but if he doesn't have
Yeah,
to
he
do very
does.
much his first year, then he can work on it.
Well, he would probably get rotational with a little
Yeah.
Aaron Jones and a little mostly Jordan
I think
Mason.
I'm going to tell you something. If he's going to see the field, it's going to be as a kick returner.
All right. So while we're staying here, let's give Tony's fourth pick too, and then we'll get to yours, Anthony, and then we'll go to mine. I love this pick. All these centers, right? I was looking to the fourth pick, the 97th overall. I was looking to get my center here. They were all gone.
Me too. That's what I usually do.
Yeah, right. And they were all gone. Slater, all of them were gone. So yours.
It depends on what site you use. Yeah.
Yeah, Logan Jones was there. So you decided to shore up the center position, Tony Bell. Yes. And
I had to pull the trigger on the Iowa kid in the Big Ten.
Old man Ted on our page. Yeah. Old man Ted on our page liked Tony's mock draft the best. He said because he liked the running back and whatever. But we know this, Ted, if you watch this, we know it's because Tony Bell took one of your beloved players from the University of Iowa, being Logan Jones. And let me tell you, you take an offensive lineman from Iowa, they usually turn out pretty dang good. So
they turn out.
That's one pick I thought that you nailed that I wish I, could have had. Definitely would have been Logan Jones.
What are all the football players in Iowa eating? They're huge.
They're just huge. They're good. They know how to play center, guard, tackle. They just do.
Tight ends too.
Kirk Ferentz knows how to develop that.
Kids.
Yeah, Kirk Ferentz doesn't develop good offensive players, but he does develop good offensive lines. So this much we do know for sure. All right, let's go to Anthony Tollison's mock draft here. We'll kind of catch up to Tony. So Tony's got his first 4 picks in there. Anthony also, like Tony Bell, took the safety from LSU, and he also went running back, Jonah Coleman. I will say this about Jonah Coleman, and I gave you guys some inside information on that. The Vikings have talked to Jonah Coleman a lot. So this is a player that, if the agent is telling me the truth, which I think she is, or the person that represents him to do interviews, she's told me that the Vikings and the Seahawks were all over Jonah Coleman. So it could be. This is a logical pick. Why would you take Jonah Coleman? What's so special about him?
Here's what I was thinking in round 3.
Yeah.
I didn't want to wait too long for safety. So it was either A.J. Halsey or Emmett Johnson. And I was thinking, well, there's other running backs I can get in round 4. So I took A.J. Halsey. And then I got lucky, and I saw Jonah Coleman's name, and I had to click on it and take him.
You were just I got to have that young back to develop. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's get it out there, because who knows about Aaron Jones staying healthy. It seems
good
to
Lord,
me.
Man. Here's something I heard today, that the Washington Commanders were trying to get Aaron Jones, and why we didn't let him go is beyond me.
Yeah, well, I think there's a reason why, Anthony. They love Anthony. I mean, they love Jones. They do love him. They do love him a lot. Aaron is like in that locker room, probably our most favorite player.
When Aaron Jones only plays half a game, is it worth it?
Yeah, well, yeah, and he's up there. He's getting a little long in the tooth, but I think this will be his last go around. And I don't think Aaron Jones. I think KOC, and he doesn't use his running backs very much, anyways. He's going to split it between him and Jordan, and if you have a Jonah Coleman on there, or if you have a Mike Washington like Tony added to the team, they might see some action, because one of those guys will get hurt.
I would be happy with pretty much any running back we get in this class, except for maybe Nick Singleton, who got hurt. But otherwise,
But I could see the Vikings doing a lot of UDFA work on getting other guys that fall on that position. But I do think the 2 guys that you picked were great. I wish they were there when I was picking. I picked the running back a little later. We'll get to that in a moment. But let's go to mine. Let's go look at my what did I do in the third and fourth rounds, or third picks with my third round picks. Put it up there. I did reach. I took Malachi Fields. I'll tell you why. Again, all the smoke. If they're lying to me, well, we'll find out. But the Vikings want a tall receiver, and Malachi Fields is a little different. When I heard the word Anquan Bolden being attached to him, I got very excited. Those that don't know
I
who
hear
Anquan
Laquan
Bolden,
Treadwell, unfortunately.
right? Well,
Hopefully not, though.
I'm hearing Anquan Bolden. Let me explain why. But Malachi played quarterback. He understands. So one thing that Malachi does good when he gets into his lock position, his radius and his hands, that area is his. All right, go watch the tape if you don't know. And Notre Dame didn't have great quarterback play, by the way. But whenever the ball was thrown apparently into Malachi's area, he catches it. And also, Malachi's big enough, 6'4", 220, where if he adds a little weight, they could put him in a possible tight end / other area. And he's a good blocker, by the way, as well. These things are important. Vikings need a good blocker on the outside, like they had when they had Sheffield, and they had guys like back in the day that could actually block at the receiving position. We need that. We need that for a zone outside running. And I think Malachi Fields might be a little reach here. I'm saying it is again. I wanted to get that wide receiving position taken care of in the 3-4 position. I don't have no faith in Felton. But the Vikings probably, if they don't do this, I will say this, they will draft a wide receiver later. They will get one, either a trade or UDFA after the draft. I guarantee you, or June 1st, they will get a veteran receiver. There's no way they would be going in with Felton as their number 3. That is for certain.
So with this pick of Fields, are you really expecting the Vikings to run the ball at all this year?
No, I still don't. Even with Frank Smith, even with all the rhetoric.
It's a receiving running
Tony,
back.
we know this, right, Tony? We know this because KOC told us. He said, "Oh, we're going to run the ball more. We're going to do it more." And with a rookie quarterback, basically, he didn't. He asked more. He asked more out of J.J. McCarthy, Max Brosmer, and Carson Wentz than he did of Sam Darnold. He had him throwing the ball down deep, just not smart football with a offensive line that was ragtagged and injured. Right, that was why I think many of us were excited, was that the offensive line. They went and spent the money on the interior line and drafted Jackson. So we were all excited about that. But it just didn't turn out, man. Jackson got hurt as a rookie. Eric was hurt. Yeah, Anthony.
Two words, Ryan Kelly.
Yeah, that just the whole story of the offensive line is that. And if Ryan Kelly was healthy, great. But then this is the problem. The Vikings don't get that. And the offensive line, and then you had the inexperienced quarterbacks, and then Carson Wentz, who basically gave up his body and his shoulder to try to help the Vikings win, and somehow they ended up 9-8. But that's why I think it's important. And with KOC as the head coach, you know what, guys, that 18th pick is not safe from taking either a tight end, top tight end, or a wide receiver. And then if we'll know that KOC's, the king
drafting
of the hill.
Under the influence.
Yes, and he's also the king of the hill. He's telling us by what he's doing if he takes one of those two positions ahead of what we did, which is solidifying a defensive line.
I would hate if KOC screws this draft up somehow. My God,
I almost guarantee
enough.
Yeah, then with the 97
pick, man.
Can you sell me on Bud Clark, Anthony? What another guy. TCU safety.
Bud Clark is a heavy hitter and a tackler.
Okay. It's kind of Harrison Smith, kind of like Harrison Smith kind of guy. Does he play in the box?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would fit Flores. I mean, listen, we've heard so much about the safety position, and a lot of people will tell you that's the number one need, depending on what Harrison does. But Tony Bell, Harrison Smith can't make up his mind, so now we got to get a young guy in there to kind of help out. They'll have Metellus healthy. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing because I think he's regressed. But, I think all of us had safety high up on our board. We drafted him where we did. You two took probably the higher-rated guy from LSU. I went with a little Bud Clark.
In mock drafts I do, he goes between 90 and 100. Bud Clark.
Yeah, so that's good value right there where I got him.
Yeah.
They gave me an A+ on that one.
He was TCU's best player.
It told me that's my best pick
Yeah.
right there. All right. I would think Peter Woods and D'Angelo Pawns would be a little higher than that. But all right, okay. So let's go back to Tony Bell's. All right, so we all have our first 4 picks in. Now we got a little break. Vikings can have a cup of coffee here. Brzezinski can have a piece of pizza. Just make sure he's ready for the 163. Okay.
Come up with some plan, some evil
Right, we're
plan
on
with
the
chaos
weekend
in
right
the-
now.
in the
Come up with your plan.
draft room.
Tony picked a guy that when I did do mock drafts after we last talked on Monday, it was the first time I did. I seem to take this guy a lot. I don't know why I didn't take him because I think he was there. But Dalen Everett, cornerback, Georgia, Anthony Tollison. Your thoughts on that player? And then
He's good. He's good for that 163rd pick. If you don't want to get a cornerback early, but we're desperate. I think we need to get corner earlier.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
I usually get him as like a second corner. I get 2 corners in my mock.
Skull's
I
state
trade
of
down.
mind saying that Jonah Coleman is slow for a running back. Okay, well, it could be an issue. And he's only what, like 5'9", I think? He's short.
Yeah, but he's
he's
as long as you're
stocky.
over 200 though.
He's stocky. He's bulky, though. He can maybe
He won't be asked to do too much in round. I mean, not round 1, but year 1. So that's fine.
So Tony, you just felt that with this pick, this is one you just want to get some young cornerback in there. You already got your safety. You want to make sure that defensive backfield's taken care of with that pick, correct?
I started filling roster spots, and I started looking at what we needed. We need corner.
You were getting more like the need picks, right? Kind of looking at the need picks at this point. Kind of need a cornerback.
And then with him and with Barton, I think Barton's size was intriguing. When I picked Barton, because Barton's a big guy.
Yeah, I kind of like
Utah's usually known for linebackers.
I wanted to get bigger at linebacker, so that's why I drafted him.
All right, let's finish Tony's draft here because we're getting late. 234, 235, back to back, and 244. Of those players, the one that I've heard associated to the Vikings the most is Eric McAllister, actually the TCU wide receiver. He doesn't fit that big receiver that I think is someone that the Vikings will get in UDFA.
He's a smaller Jordan Addison guy.
Short, yeah, good route runner, right? Good route runner, if I read that right, on McAllister, which is important.
Yeah, if you want to wait until late in the draft and get a wide receiver, it don't matter really who you get. You're just taking a flyer on guys.
Taking a flyer. This is flyer time. Tony filled out the tight end position. DJ Rogers, another TCU. We definitely have the Vikings loving TCU. And then Skylar Thomas for another safety guy. Tony, you just want to make sure, right? You just want to make sure.
We need defensive backfield help. We need defensive backfield help as much as any team in the league. So yeah, I went with these guys later. They are not guaranteed, not starters, definitely, but they are depth that we need desperately on this team.
So
it would be nice,
if
we had the number 1 secondary in the league this year.
Well, in the way that Flores plays, the thing with Flores' secondaries, though, he's not asking them to be ball hogs. I would figure with the amount of pressure he's putting on, I guess Flores is kind of gauging the fact that with the high pressure rate, 49 sacks last year, that he's figuring that the quarterback is under duress is going to obviously throw us some more interceptions. Remember, early in the year, they got no turnovers. That was one of the big problems with the Vikings defense. They couldn't.
That was a big problem with the Vikings. They weren't,
and
they
couldn't
stop the run
either.
Yeah. The year before, the offense had a short field to work with, which helped Darnold being a veteran. It was a short field.
Because the Vikings led the league. 2 years ago, they led the league in interceptions.
Yeah.
And that's why they had such opportunities. Last year was hard.
And last year, they couldn't get any.
Yeah,
they couldn't get any. So,
Eric, 2 words, Jeff Okuda.
Yeah, that was they had a really, when you look at their free agency last year, and I was excited about the offensive line. I'm like, man, this looks kind of good.
Hargrave, Jonathan Allen.
Yeah, I was excited, right? They took care of the trenches. They did what we wanted them to do, and none of them turned out except for Eric Wilson, who was just, you felt like that was just a throw in to put. But he was probably the best
career year last year.
Yeah, he probably had the best.
He wasn't even a starter. He wasn't even a starter until
wasn't even a starter
middle of the year.
He deserved his contract to come back. I'm glad we re-signed him.
Yeah, I am too. He deserved that contract. He really did. He played out of his world. So basically, Tony, on your mock, they gave you a B+ from the site that you did it from. I like this. I mean, you did get the positions of need You took care of the defensive backfield. You did what all three of us think that they
Mike
should
Washington's
do.
my favorite pick on his draft.
Who's that?
Mike Washington's my favorite pick
Yeah,
he
the
took.
running back. I mean, the guy, he's rated up there. He's one of the top 5 running backs in this draft. If you look at it, Jonah Coleman, I've seen up there too. I've seen Jonah Coleman taken anywhere from the second.
Freaking to get Washington 82, he usually goes between 50 and 60.
Yeah, but I think the thing here, they're gauging whatever site Tony was on, and some of these sites you see the running backs. I had one of them on one of the things I did. Had Love falling to me at 18, and I'm like,
I had Darian Price at 82, and he's no way. He's going first round
way,
probably.
Right? Yeah. So I think these, and it's true, running backs, unfortunately for them, they're the most devalued position come draft time. You see some guys fall, and you're like, why did that guy fall there? I remember watching him in college.
Running back is devalued in football, period. Now it's not the glamour position it used to be. It's been very much devalued in all of football. So
especially with us,
right? It shouldn't be. Our coach doesn't even believe in it. Doesn't even believe in running the football.
Exactly.
Coach, it's third and short. You mind running the ball?
36%. So you can get a good running back later in the draft. I mean, there's going to be guys, maybe some UDFAs too, that fall. I mean, we'll look at mine here in a second. And you told me that could be UDFA. Who knows? Let's go to yours, Anthony. Finish your mock draft out. And again, just a reminder here, you're watching the official Purple Skull Squad show for Minnesota Viking fans. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. Tell your friends about us. Anthony, as we finish your draft here, we're going to go to your 163. You took the linebacker from Alabama, which always seems to be a good move, though. Getting linebackers from Alabama seems to work out. For the Vikings, though, remember Dwayne Rudd, though.
I like Dwayne Rudd.
Up to his, it didn't live up
Rudd
to
was
it.
okay, but he made some boneheaded.
Yeah,
he made some boneheaded plays.
I expected more.
If he was more
Dwayne
disciplined,
Rudd.
He would have worked out.
Yeah, I think so. It wasn't horrible, but just wasn't like one of the guys you expect from Alabama when they have a high grade to him.
When I was looking around, I took a linebacker early because we only have Eric Wilson after this year signed a contract.
Yeah. No, they're going to, this too with Flores, safety and linebackers. There's going to be a bountiful coming.
But I would love if Cashman comes back. He's great.
Yeah,
so,
and the Vikings seem to
win.
But
we'll see what the situation is with the cap money after this year.
Yeah, well, that could be some of that could be alleviated if they do trade Jonathan Grenard. Some of that pressure could be taken.
Grenard
off.
to the Patriots. Wow.
Yeah, okay, you're pulling for that. I think Quality Control would like that one. So, and they gave you a good grade for Dante Lawson. Again, I think this guy is Tony. I think this is Anthony's
Tony Bell's favorite center.
Your center. You took him, the Garrett Bradbury of the draft.
You know who Pat Coogan reminds me of? Remember Kirk Loudermilk?
Yes. If he's Kirk Loudermilk,
I remember Kirk.
Then you're getting a stud. But that's
he's an old school, gritty center who will take on defenders, and he will make sure nobody gets past him. Pat Coogan is good. Okay. He may be a little small, but hey, if we're gonna have Kyler Murray at quarterback, come on now, you got to have somebody who isn't freaking 7 foot.
Yeah, well, they didn't give you the best grade there, though. So let's just, let's call it what it is. He's your favorite. Like for me, for whatever reason, Ted Hurst. I cry when Ted Hurst is picked.
Well, I couldn't get a center earlier on, anyways. That was the first guy that showed up when I was able to.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I didn't take one. I went. My theory is, and we'll get to mine, that the Vikings are gonna get. There's no way a rookie's gonna start for the Vikings, and there's no way Brando's gonna leave his versatility. Though I did select somebody in my draft that is a versatile offensive lineman, and we're
gonna have to be rotational at center, I think.
Yeah, so let's look at mine really quickly here. Drew Shelton was my 163, and that's the guy that gave me an A. I looked up his statistics. He's consistent, 70-70. You know what I like about 70-70? 70 pass block, 70 run. He plays left tackle.
Drew Shelton's a future starter.
Right? He plays left tackle, right tackle, and he can play guard. The only one he doesn't play, which would have made it even a better pick by me, is center. But knowing the Vikings and how they put people in various positions, who knows? I'll probably try Drew Shelton out at the center position. I went with another receiver. I know you took him too, Anthony. I like this Caleb Douglas guy. I like him because of the size. I didn't see a lot of tape that says this guy's going to be a fantastic wide receiver, but he's a guy that maybe like Jalen Naylor, he could stay healthy and could be a big kind of receiver for him. That's what I'm kind of hoping with Caleb Douglas.
Yeah, there wasn't much available at wide receiver, so I just said heck it, because Caleb Douglas, at least he's over 200. He's not real small.
No, he's 6'4". I mean, these
Yeah.
are things you kind of need. Red zone was a problem for the Vikings last year for whatever reason. Justin Jefferson, Tony, only had 2 touchdowns. It's hard to even think about it. And Justin Jefferson had a touchdown week 1. Let's not forget that. So after that, he had 1 other touchdown all year. That's just one of the fantasy horrible years.
Speaking of fantasy, Justin Jefferson screwed me last year.
Yeah, no, I know. And actually got traded in our fantasy league. Our fantasy
Oh,
league.
shit.
And I wasn't even approached for
I was
because you would
stupid
figure
and took
I'd be
him first
approached. I'm
overall.
the Viking guy, and they somehow went under the radar. But he got a lot. He got a lot
Oh,
for
shit.
Justin Jefferson.
I took
too.
Justin Jefferson first overall in fantasy last year.
Yeah, well, that you can do it because of the Vikings allegiance. But all right,
And you guys are the reason I don't play fantasy football.
Well, you know what they need to have? Tony would play if they'd have more defensive. Well, they do. They have like defensive positional things, which in our league we do.
IDLs.
Yeah,
Yeah, they do.
IDL. You know,
They do.
most tacklers, interception guy.
Yeah.
You get with 3
They have
guys.
the
You rotate. You always take like the
individual.
linebacker because they get the most tackles. I got screwed because I took Singleton, I think, last year, and unfortunately, you know what happened to him. So that killed me for that position.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
finish out mine, and then we'll finish out
still
yours.
not interested.
We're gonna see. Let's get Tony in a fantasy league this year. We'll do our own. I think we should do that. That would be fun.
Hey,
Good
I'm
luck
down.
with that one.
Let's go. Come on.
Good
Let's
luck
do
with
it.
that one.
Finishing, I went with a running back late. I don't know. Oklahoma running back. He didn't get a lot of carries. They loved my pick here only because they feel he will fit the Vikings system best. And this site had like teams, and they had the logo on it that would fit best. And this seemingly they feel like Jaden Ott will kind of be that guy. So
They must think he's going to get 50 swing passes out of the
yeah,
backfield.
that's about it because it was going to get about 10 carries
Mhm.
knowing KSC. So he's not going to be running the ball.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He's a receiver in the running back position. The one they really loved that I took, and somehow he was there, is the edge from Florida, Tyreek Sapp. And then I finished off like Tony. I just felt like more guys in the defensive backfield. You know, at
You
this
got
point,
lucky. I couldn't find an edge in mine at late.
I wanted that because you know Flores is going to get an edge, especially if they trade Grenard. They're going to get. So I went with Domani Jackson, Alabama. You know, Alabama cornerbacks tend to be pretty good in the NFL. We kind of need the depth.
Brian Branch, Terrion Arnold.
My grade, they gave me a B, which is kind of weird because I had a lot of A's on here, right? But I had the C plus. They hated my Caleb Douglas pick. But whatever. They gave me a B.
I mean, who do they expect you to take?
Let's go. What's that?
Who do they expect you to take at wide receiver there?
I know. I look. I got Fields. Fields was a reach. They gave me an A, and I think actually Caleb Douglas.
It's probably
some of
because
these
he's a
things that
second
I've
wide
seen-
receiver and they wanted you to take a different position.
Yeah. Maybe they did.
Mhm.
So let's go back to Anthony's. We'll finish up with his, and then again, do you guys want to post your mock drafts? We got a whole thing set up. You can see our 3. You've seen what we've done. But Anthony, you finished again. You had Caleb Douglas, and then your final 2 picks. Tell us a little bit about the another tackle. You took the other guy from Penn State, and then you went with the big tight end from Indiana, which you can't really go wrong.
I mean, he's not Drew Shelton, but he's good for who he is.
And
He's the other side.
at this point, you're looking at
Yeah.
development guy. You're looking at a guy.
But I
Mhm.
mean, I took him because if for some reason we're not going to use Walter Rouse again this year, you might as well get somebody.
Yeah.
And then Riley Nowakowski because I wanted an edge, so I said, heck, if there's no edges, let's get a tight end who could be a hybrid fullback or tight end. He's really good at blocking, and I think he's like 246 and 6'3", something like that.
And you're actually thinking about something, Anthony, I didn't even think about. Maybe we haven't either, Tony, and the fact that, CJ Ham's not there this year, right? He retired. Vikings kind of need, they could go for a bullish H-back, fullback, tight end kind of guy, Maybe that's something, I don't know. The fullback position is kind of dead in the NFL, but we kind of need that guy, right? We need a bully because our offensive lines obviously has really gelled together, and they always seem to get hurt. So in order to run the ball more effectively, maybe getting a guy, I don't know, who would you say is the best kind of guy? Like a Richard, like a Ricard?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gerser,
or Kyle Juszczyk.
Carl Jusek. We kind of need a guy like that.
Yeah. Kyle Juszczyk,
Or
yeah.
the guy that we
would be
love. The guy that we loved, whoever is the Jim Kleinsasser of this draft.
That's not happening. Nobody's Jim Klein saucer.
No one is the sauce, man. That guy just, personified what you want.
You could have
right
Riley
there.
Nowakowski throw some more touchdown passes like C.J. Ham did.
So there's Anthony's draft. I don't know what they gave you for a grade. It looks like you did pretty well. I would say they probably gave you.
I think it was a B+.
B+. All right. So we all did B+. I wish that was my high school average. But that was our mock drafts. And again, tomorrow night, let's wrap this up. Final thoughts on this, gentlemen. I'll start with you, Anthony. What do you feel like we're going to see tomorrow night? What are you wanting to see? And just, are you excited about this draft?
I'm excited about this draft, but I'm also thinking in the back of my mind, how is KOC going to screw it up somehow?
Is Brzezinski going to get the card in on time? Is Brzezinski going to get the card in time?
We got freaking evil Mr.
Twice.
Burns as a fucking coach who's stubborn as hell.
And someone tell Brzezinski that it's 8 minutes, not 10, okay? Just so that he's not getting a Danish and a coffee. You got 8 minutes.
I have confidence in Brzezinski. It's just the KOC is going to put his mouth to his ear and just whisper, "Hey, I want this guy, I want that guy, I want this dude," and it's not gonna be somebody we like. Us fans are probably gonna be disappointed.
And normally what happens, we get all excited. We got our guy like Peter Woods, right? Or a lot of people like Dylan or McCoy, or some people will have one. Oh yeah, we're gonna get one of these guys, and then it's somebody you're like, who? What? There's always those guys. Like Dolman was back in the day. Like I was like, huh? But that turns out okay. It goes to show you what you know. We don't know. They know better. And they turn out, and you never know. But it could be one of those, what? But okay.
If Brzezinski has his way most of the draft, then I think it'd be good. If KOC has his way,
we're worried,
man. Yeah, I'm worried.
Just remember the name, Lemon. Fortunately, I have read out here that there is no way that if he falls, that Lemon gets past the Rams at 13. Remember, I told you that.
So good for them. I don't want to wide receiver at all.
Especially if we don't know what's. Especially now, we don't know what's going on with Puka. They got problems with Puka Nacua.
He just got out of
rehab. They got Adams. I mean, it doesn't. It's like not a position they need. But again, these high offensive-minded coaches, this is something.
It's Sean McVay. He wants offense.
He wants offense. And Lemon's a receiver. Lemon's a guy he doesn't have. They have like Otwell, kind of like what Lemon is, like devastating in short spaces and can make a small play into an 80-yard touchdown. That's what Lemon is. He's like Percy Harvin. Bob's Sweet, Nate Wright fell down in 75. Yes, no doubt about that. But he's pushed
Nate Wright was great.
Yes. So, Tony, your final thoughts as we get ready for tomorrow. We were not going to do a show through the whole other picks, whatever, but we might turn on the old Purple Skull Squad show.
I'll be ready. I'll be at the bar with my friend.
We'll do the 16th thing. Tony, if you're available, jump on. We'll see if Bill's there. You can give us – maybe we'll do a live check-in with Tony Bell from the draft party. And you'll be at the bar. I'll be here. So
on the second night, I need you guys to do something. Let me say this real quick. On the second night, when Drew Pearson comes on the screen, I want you to yell "F you."
Oh, that is interesting because the Vikings will have a current player, and he's not been cut so far or renegotiated his contract, but former Pittsburgh Panther standout tight end tackle Brian O'Neill will put in the first round pick for us if he gets the card in time from Rob Brzezinski. So that is something we'll.
And I'm gonna say this. When is O'Neal supposed to make that pick? The second or third round, or is that supposed to be our first?
Second, right? Second.
When is he going to announce it?
49. Unless we make a weird trade.
He's going to be announced in our top pick. We're trading out of the first round. So I'm going to this draft party with the intention that we are not making a pick in the first round.
Well, that will give you plenty of time to check in with us then tomorrow night, Tony, because they're not making a pick. And
live from U.S. Bank Stadium.
Live from U.S. Bank Stadium. Tony's going to be sitting there with the coffee, getting the free Danishes himself. And, this way Brzezinski won't have
You guys will be listening. You guys will be listening you'll be listening to the Viking fans complaining and moaning that they traded that first round. And,
it'll be comical.
So
I ain't worried.
This draft This draft is the draft to trade down. And if you could, Anthony brought this up earlier, get the second round pick from next year. It's going to have much more value. You'll have much more value that in case
Bernard's a great player, so you'll fetch stuff for him. You'll get
and get the fourth round pick for this year. They already got a lot of late picks. Get the fourth round pick for this year. It's okay. I don't mind. We'll get a second.
Here's the thing with Grenard. This is what people are missing. Whoever is going to trade for Grenard is going to pay him.
New England?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. And right now he's got 2 years left on a contract. Nobody's going to
let him go be New England's problem.
I can guarantee you he's not playing for $4 million guaranteed. He's not going to do that. So the Vikings either going to pay him or trade him.
Not after what, unfortunately, after what Jalen Phillips got, he feels slighted. But
yeah. So Tony, then you just
Panthers overpaid.
They're going to trade out of the first round. I agree with you. I just think again, this is a sort. If you were to grade this draft, Anthony and Tony, where would you? Overall, it's kind of like a C plus.
I like a lot of the talent in round 2. That's why I want to trade down.
Yeah, it's like weird. It's deeper than it is. Like it. God forbid the Raiders got to hope Mendoza's the guy. There's no one after Mendoza. You know
what's so funny? When I look at Mendoza, he looks like Kirk Cousins' kid.
Well, he's going to get to learn.
Guess who's with the Raiders with him? Kirk Cousins.
Well, Captain Kirko
fits right in.
Yes, he's going to get to learn from him. So tomorrow night, we might be there. We might just be there to talk about the 18th pick. That's not going to happen because they are going to trade down, maybe late first round. And then at the first round, when we think they're going to pick later, they'll probably trade down again. I'm guessing this is stuff that we could see happen. I hope, Chris Ansbury, you don't have Kwesi PTSD or the great Rick Spielman when he did this continually and got nobody late in drafts at all. So, for Anthony Tollison, again, Bill Dunkel not with us. Again, condolences, Bill, to you and your family, passing of Mother Marilyn. For Tony Bell, for Quality Control, who put this fantastic show together as far as the opens and the pictures. We wish you a good night, gentlemen, and Skull.
Whoa.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to our page for all breaking Vikings news, draft coverage, and don't forget, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Skull!